Hey, and welcome to game number 9 from the Blackstone Owl Store Championship that took place on March 12th. I am Ben from T3 Productions. On the left, we have Timmy Wong, the world-famous Timmy Wong, playing Sync. And on the right, we have John Delisandri playing Noise and rocking that fancy, fancy alt art. And this is game 9, so this is the finals in the winners bracket, so you can definitely expect some top play, and we're just going to get right into it. That was install, and hedge fund. I believe Timmy dumped a pop-up over R&D, and I think that was an Archangel over HQ. That could be pretty solid moving forward. I think Timmy was just afraid of what else might come up, and I did get to play against Timmy earlier in the day as well, and that is some pretty solid ice for him to see in the beginning. And on John's side, I see a few data suckers, I see a Josh B, and a Dirty Laundry, and drawing twice for his first 2 clicks, dropping the data sucker, and we'll probably see a Dirty Laundry run somewhere. I'm sure we're going to go with, oh yeah, Archive, so John getting his money back right off the bat. I think John forgot to pay for his data sucker. Maybe he has 8. I think he should have 7, but it's been a long day of Netrunner. I believe this is hour like 10 or 11 at this point, so fatigue is definitely starting to step in, and Timmy drawing up a little bit more, hitting the NAPD, definitely not seeing what he wants to see. We see another pop-up in his hand. I believe that's a Psychographics and a Resistor as well. So we have Resistor and pop-up and a Psychographics and a Jackson and an NAPD. Actually, that's a Scorched Earth way over on the left-hand side, too. So we'll probably see a Jackson here or an Ice Install, maybe both, just to try and get his hand shaped a little bit better. Going with the Ice Install, starting to get that remote set up. As you can imagine with Sync, Timmy does want to get tags set up, and John drawing into the Faust and the Data Sucker, which is exactly what he wants to see. Oh, man, and the Data Sucker hitting the global food off the top. John able to Dirty Laundry in, getting a bunch of money and sucker tokens and a global food. That is far from what Timmy wanted to see this early in the game. With the global foods and we've seen global foods, NAPDs, and breaking news, so it looks like Timmy's agenda density is fairly low and expensive, you know, barring the breaking news, of course, and the global food just makes you run a lot. But the NAPDs and his ice selection is very costly, very difficult to run through, and hopefully we will see John's Noise deck able to do something about that. You know, right now, leaving everything unrezzed makes it a lot scarier for Noise than if everything was rezzed. I think that's true in pretty much any matchup against NBN. The ice that you don't know is always scarier than the ice that you do. And Timmy dropping the pop-up over Archives and then pitching a card. It wouldn't surprise me at all if that was a NAPD that he pitched, just to get it back in his deck, clean out his hand, filter that a little bit, and just make for a better board state. John continuing to draw up, probably looking for Wildside and Pancakes. We see a Parasite. Still, there is a Josh B, and I can't quite make out the other stuff. We still haven't seen any influence. That other Dirty Laundry that he just drew is going to be very, very helpful. Get some more Data Sucker tokens. John does drop the Faust and is probably going to Dirty Laundry here to start getting an idea of what this ice is. Opting to just run the Jackson, force that, figure out how badly Timmy wants to keep it, keep the card in Archives. Which I expect Timmy is going to, he has another Jackson in hand too, so he might let John trash this. Oh, nope, I guess going for it. But I'm actually a little bit surprised, you know, probably, you know, there was an All-Seeing Eye, there was a hedge fund, and there was an NAPD contract. So I can understand Timmy wanting those 3 cards back in. I'm not sure, though, if it was worth it. That NAPD might have been better suited in the discard pile. Although if it had continued, we do see John with a Dirty Laundry in his hand, so that could have been an easy run as well. Especially with Faust on the board. And collect more Data Sucker tokens. would have been good all around. Oh, okay, so there you go. I guess Timmy drawing into that hedge fund again. So clearly much better to shuffle it in than let John trash the Jackson. And we got some contemplation here. We'll probably see, that's another ice install that Timmy has. I think that's another resistor. So the hedge fund and icing and playing, or maybe installing and use the Jackson, I could also see using that. Sync does have the upside of only a 40 card deck. Timmy is running 44 in this iteration, which makes sense. There's really no reason not to. So seeing the extra cards here, I know would be very, very good. And especially for Timmy, since he does have a lot of one-ofs, a lot of miscellaneous like pieces that kind of make the deck tick, that also make it very, very difficult to get a read on what the deck is doing. I know from experience, and it is very hard to play against. So, fun food for thought. And John continuing to draw. There's some influence. Drawing into the Siphon. Probably can expect to see that played very soon. And John goes to the Lamprey. So definitely can expect some pretty significant HQ pressure. I guess we get the benefit of seeing everything. Now can kind of guess that John's running more of a denial build. And that makes sense. We see the parasites as well. So parasites, data suckers, account siphons, and lampreys. And that might actually be all of John's influence. If he runs 3 siphons, 3 parasites, that would be it. We might see a Hades shard, so maybe 3 siphons, 2 parasites, and a Hades shard. But hard to pick. And running HQ to check, that's a super smart play. Of course, Timmy wants to res the Architect to keep his money safe. John pitching a bunch of cards to get through the Archangel with Faust, since Timmy can definitely pay more than John can. And a little bit of drama, not hitting anything important, but forcing Timmy to lose the buck. The good news here is that now we know John has a Parasite, so that Archangel probably isn't long for this world. Going in for the pop-up, pretty good. Get his money back from the Lamprey. And we get to see some more influence on Timmy's side. Seeing the Snare, this is definitely something that Timmy likes to do out of pretty much any deck. He loves using traps. We saw it in his Worlds deck last year, playing the Psychic Field out of NEH. We're seeing it right now, getting the Snare out of Sync. A little bit more influence when you have less, but it goes further and could kill. So with what's in Timmy's hand, we can definitely assume this is a heavy, heavy tag deck. It is Sync, so that is kind of implied, but it looks like it's even more true right now. You know, the Breaking News and the Scorched Earth, it can definitely go for some surprise kills. It also has the Psychographics and the All-Seeing Eye. Although, if John is running the account siphons, he probably doesn't care too much about having tags, which could be a little bit interesting later in the game. But the All-Seeing Eye could cause issues. The Psychographics could cause issues. Being able to psycho out potentially a 3-point global food or more. You know, we could also see Beal. I guess if it gets really, really bad, we could see a Beal for 7 points. But you never really see that anymore, which is a shame. It's always fun to see that stuff. But Timmy instead going to ice up his HQ a little bit more. Throwing, I didn't catch what it was. I know Timmy had a resistor in his hand, so I think one of those must be a resistor. But making Ice Q a little bit safer, I can only presume that one, if not both of those, end the run. And John is continuing to draw. He might be looking for his wild side and pancakes to get set up. That really turns Faust on. Especially out of these Anarchs. You all should know what I'm talking about. You see it everywhere. And here we go. We have the Parasite drop. I'm expecting here the account siphon pretty soon. Actually, no. John is 1 Data Sucker token short of being able to kill the Archangel this turn. So he probably is going to money up here, and then we'll probably see John running on HQ once the Archangel's been dealt with, or once the Archangel has an extra token. And Timmy checks in with another breaking news. I really don't think he's seeing what he wants. John was able to get set up at lightning speed. The data suckers are going to do a lot of work with Faust to keep cards in John's hand. And actually, thinking about it, it wouldn't surprise me at all if John's just trying to do something completely different here. He might not be running Wildside and adjusted chronotype, and could instead be opting to reduce strength with those data suckers. I've been noticing a little bit of a downswing in CVS and Cyberdeck's Virus Suite these days, so maybe he's trying to play with the meta a little bit and have some interesting ideas. Click 3, I think John's thinking about playing the Siphon on click 3, which means that he might be planning on floating these tags. I don't think he has a Plascrete. He's going for it, going for the Siphon. Click 3. He has to end his turn with 4 cards in his hand since he's going to definitely be tagged. Or a Plascrete. A Plascrete could be really, really good. John does have a bunch of cards in his hand, though, so depending on what Timmy has here, this might be a safe bet. Timmy is deep in thought. This Siphon could hurt, resing the Resistor for free. That's awesome. At least going to cost John a card from his hand, lowering it, bringing John down to 5 cards. So Timmy only needs to get 2 more out of this next ice. And, oh man, it's a wraparound. This could be real, real bad for John if he doesn't jack out here. How bad does John want to land the account Siphon? He's thinking about it. That will cost 4 cards. 4 cards. John's double checking. I don't think I see a Plascrete here. This might be it for John. Yep, ditching 4 cards, a couple of Knights, a medium, and something else, but that's not really going to matter. John does blow up the Archangel and siphoning a bunch of money. Timmy still has 2 credits, so he can... Oh man, that's a big, big problem for John. I'm not sure if he knows it. He's seen all these other tagging things. We saw the All-Seeing Eye, and he has seen a Psycho. So John might be banking on no Scorched Earth, but he hasn't seen any Influence. So I'm not sure what's going on here. And running Jackson last click, not even going for the hand. This isn't looking great for John. And Timmy's just kind of, resting the Resistor, doesn't want to spend the money, can't go below this amount of credits, because or else he loses the kill. If John discards down, he's at 0, and then there's really, really absolutely nothing he can do. But I think this is still going to be game. Timmy drawing, we see the Scorched Earth right front, yep, and that is it. So Timmy takes the win, goes on to the finals undefeated. Timmy needs to lose twice to get second in this tournament. Otherwise, it is his. Thank you very much for watching. Very exciting game. We have a lot more coming up. Catch you next time.